Hello, and welcome back to Our Lead Escapes. Join us today as Dan, Melody, and I depart on our Luck of Ireland tour. Let's send it over to Dan as we get ready to depart. Take it away, Dan.
All right, and we are off to Dublin for the Luck of Ireland tour. You guys ready? Here we go.
Upon arrival in Dublin, Ireland, we went directly to Slane Castle, which is famous for their summer concerts. That they typically have one concert each year, but they bring in some of the biggest names in music, such as the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Queen, Bon Jovi, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and so much more. But this was the perfect way to start our Luck of Ireland tour, because I always say when you go to Europe, you need to stay up until at least 9 p.m. so you could skip over that jet lag. It's honestly the best way to not go through the jet lag of traveling to Europe by staying up till 9 p.m. So what other better way than to start with some whiskey tasting? I mean, what amazing whiskeys they have at Slane Distillery. Definitely recommend it. As you can see here, we had 3 different whiskeys that paired perfectly with some chocolate and caramel.
So what did you think of Slane Castle?
Phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic.
What was your favorite whiskey?
I think the second one, the cherry.
With the sherry?
It was in the cherry barrel.
Yep.
It's really unique. They have that. They got it from, I forgot which country they came from.
Probably Spain, because it was
Spain,
sherry.
Yeah, because they made sherry.
Yep.
It was a different taste to it, and that's because of the barrel.
Very nice. Love it.
Good explanation.
Slane Castle.
After Slane Castle, we headed into Dublin to check into our hotel, and we went for a walk into Temple Bar. And here you could see the famous Temple Bar, but they also have great food, so we went for dinner. We got a little lamb shank right here, which was fantastic. Before we went out on the town, as you could see, it was very lively, truly summer in Ireland, and so much fun. But of course, we had to cheers with some Guinness and then some live Irish trad music.
She was queen of the island, and her hair hung over her shoulder.
The following morning, we headed to the Epic Museum, which is an Irish emigration museum, where you could learn all about the history of all the immigrants who left Ireland and went around the world. It's so interesting to really hear the history of the Irish people. But what was super cool is it's very high-tech, interactive. As you can see, I'm just touching these screens and it's teaching you more and more about the Irish and what they've done and where they've gone, and truly the stories of these people that had to leave Ireland. But what's cool is everything is very interactive. You have screens all over teaching you different things. There's different areas to go into to learn all about everything you need to know about Irish, including the notorious Irish. But it's very interactive like this. See, they have questions, and then you could step on underneath the light and say which one you think, and it'll tell you if you're correct. I found this super interesting about the Chicago fire, as I am born and raised in the Chicago suburbs. So it was super interesting learning about Mrs. O'Leary's cow and Mrs. O'Leary in general. As you could see if you're reading through this, that she was just an easy target, and that she actually spent the rest of her years running away from the unwanted attention from the press, and the story was all made up. So it wasn't even true that Mrs. O'Leary's cow knocked over the lantern and started the Chicago fire. But luckily, I guess you could say luckily, not really, but 100 years later, they said that yes, it isn't true. But look, you could also be one of the Irish, the notorious Irish. You could learn how to do the Irish jig. There's so many fun, interactive places. The Epic Museum is definitely a stop if you have some Irish ancestry or you just want to learn about it. Definitely a great museum. You get these passports right here. As you can see, you put it in, you give it a stamp, and you get a new stamp. As you continue on, at the very end, you're actually able to put in your family's names, and then you could get a little history about them as well. But after that, we headed to the Guinness Storehouse, and no other better way. You have to go to the Guinness Storehouse if you're in Dublin. And you can see right here is the 9,000-year-old lease for the Guinness Guinness Storehouse that Guinness signed back in the day. But it's super interactive as well. I mean, look at this. This is just water falling down, spelling out more information about Guinness. You can see right here, it's talking more and more about it as you go through. But one of the best parts of going through the Guinness Storehouse, other than learning more and more about Guinness, is that you actually get to taste Guinness. So when I was back in Ireland in July, I got to go to the Guinness Storehouse. As you can see, it's multiple floors of everything Guinness, from learning just about the actual beer, how it's made, what they use. You get to see, as you can see here, all the old advertisements that they did to promote Guinness. It's just such a fun place. But of course, you definitely want to try a Guinness, because I always say, and what you always hear, is that it tastes different in Ireland, and it really does. It has such a great flavor. It's almost like a dessert. And you can see this is one of the activities that you can do. It's an optional activity to pull your own pint. And what a cool experience. So what you do is you only fill it up to that level, as you could see, so pretty much full, but then you have to let it settle, because look at all those bubbles going down. Look at how it's settling out and how much darker it's going to get. And then at the end, you top it off, and sláinte. So sláinte in Ireland means cheers. So we definitely were cheersing all throughout our tour, but this was such a great way. This is the Gravity Room. This is the last spot on the tour that you'll get to go into. You get great views of Dublin and the Dublin Mountains, which you'll see, but this is such a great place to just chill. So make sure that you have some time, relax, enjoy your Guinness, and enjoy the views of beautiful Ireland, Dublin. The following morning, we left Dublin and started our way down to Cork with a quick stop at the Ballykilleen Farm and Brewery for a little beer tasting, and what a great experience this was. So this farm has been in the family for 13 generations since 1639, with the current owner wanting to make sure that he could keep the farm in his family for more generations to come. So since he was already growing barley, he decided to start brewing beer. So we came in, we got this tasting room right here, which was perfect for the group, and we got to taste all their different beers. This is the current owner right here, and such a nice guy. Was very generous, letting us try all the beers, and you know, if we wanted a second round, he was generous enough to give us that as well. So this is definitely a must stop for anyone traveling from Dublin down to Cork. And then after your stop at Ballykilleen Farm and Brewery, head on over to the Cashel, which is in County Tipperary, and such a cool stop because you could really hear the history. Here's our private tour guide that we had for this part of our day at Rock of Cashel. I mean, the ruins are still intact. Obviously, there has been some stuff that has fallen down, but I mean, look at how well preserved it is for such a ruin. This dates back until the 1200s, and the Rock of Cashel used to be where the kings of Munster would stay. So this has so much history, and it was such an amazing tour to learn more and more about. But as you can see, beautiful inside, but as you go outside, I mean, just take that in. Does that not just look like picturesque Ireland? Obviously, we're in Ireland, but I mean, it was truly such a beautiful sight. Just to stand outside and just take in the views was amazing. So this is definitely a great spot to get to learn more about the history, to really see a true ancient ruin of Ireland. And I would definitely recommend the stop. So a little hello from us, and then we headed to lunch. People always ask for our Elite World Group tours if food is included, and yes, it is. As you can see here, you get an appetizer, a main meal, dessert, and then everyone always gets a drink with their meal. So here we had either an Irish beer, an Irish whiskey, otherwise a soda. The next morning, we were in Cork, we went to Cobh, and we went to the Titanic Museum. The main Titanic Museum is in Belfast, but if you are not going to Northern Ireland, this is a great stop to make. You know, because you'll get the card, as you maybe saw me holding at the beginning, which will give a name of someone who was on the ship, so you can learn about them and see if they survived or not. They show the different types of room categories, and this is one of the most interesting spots because this is the last stop that the Titanic made before it sailed off. So that pier right there was the actual pier that people went on to board the Titanic. And as you saw, there was their names. There was actually a sad lyre on the boat. Unfortunately, he did not make it. But then we had free time here in Cobh, and we walked around and we had to go up to the cathedral. As many of you see, if you're ever looking at pictures of Cork, of Cobh, you will see that this cathedral is everywhere, and what a beautiful place. So we had to walk up the hill. There was confirmation going on, so it was actually packed with people. But look at the architecture of this place. It was truly gorgeous. And then you get to go outside and you get this amazing view. So what a fun experience, and definitely recommend stopping through here because it's gorgeous as well. And then as we traveled on, we went to the Jameson Distillery, and we went to have some Jameson tastings. So Jameson is obviously probably one of the best well-known whiskeys of Ireland that is still around. There was plenty, as you learn, that were around, but Jameson definitely took over, and it is still going strong. So it's such a fun place to go experience. You get to see the distiller's cottage. This is where the main distiller used to live. They also still have this water mill still going, but more still for show nowadays. But it was such a fun area to walk around, take it all in, because this is where they really produce all the Jameson that you consume. If you've consumed Jameson, most likely this is where it is from. And you could also see right here, see how these barrels are losing some of their whiskey. So what they say is it is the angel share. So there's the angel wings, and the angels obviously need a little whiskey as well. They do their tastings just like we're doing right here. As you can see, we had 3 different tastings, so 3 different types of Jameson, and such a great experience. After that, we got to go have a cocktail at their bar, and so I chose the Jameson ginger and then add a lime. I mean, that makes all the difference. The next morning, we then headed to Blarney Castle on our way to Killarney, and what a cool stop. You know, you have to kiss the Blarney Stone, right? If you're going to Ireland, but it is a way to get up. So look at this. So this is inside the castle, and this is the staircase that you need to go up. So it is a little tight, and it is a spiral staircase, but you could do it. It is worth the experience because you get also these views as you are climbing on up, as you go into all the different rooms and see all the history of the castle. And it's such a cool experience. Climbing up Blarney Stone. There we go. Should we kiss it?
Yep.
All right. And of course, that answer is yes. So if you look over here, you see that lady with the white backpack over there. That is where you kiss the Blarney Stone. So we're standing in line right now. You get some of those views looking down into the castle. But as you could see, as I am doing the kiss of the Blarney Stone, you actually have to go down pretty far and really stretch down there. So it's quite an experience. Maybe do a little stretching before, but everyone is at their own pace and everyone is able to kiss it no matter what. So, all right, well, we just kissed the Blarney Stone. How was it?
Scary.
It's a lot lower than you'd think. You're actually like really bent back far, but
Yeah.
good experience. Happy I did it.
Yeah, glad on carpet.
There. Good. Blarney Castle has some of the most beautiful grounds as well. So it's not just about the castle. You can walk around all over and see all of their beautiful landscaping. But as you'll see next week in our next episode, we will be continuing on to Killarney, to Galway, and to Castle Leslie Estate with so much more beauty in the mix. So make sure to come back next week, and now we'll leave you with a little bagpipe.
Thank you so much for joining us here today on Our Lead Escapes. Make sure you come back next Friday as Dan, Melody, and I continue our Luck of Ireland tour through Killarney, Galway, and our special farewell stay at Castle Leslie Estate. And now your sneak peek inside what fills your heart with Ireland.
To me, Irish people are the funniest in the world. They just are.
Oh, this looks amazing.
I just love anything that comes with its own home.
Everyone's a comedian.
Anything else?
Some greens.
What do you think I am? A juggler?
Stunning.
Aspirational.
Would you look at the brushstrokes on that?
I think the reason I see comedy in everything is because I was surrounded by it growing up. That's good. You wouldn't know we're 105.
Between us. Do you know what? There's only one word for it.
Absolutely cracker.
Hi, how are you?
In Ireland, one of the greatest compliments you can give someone is to describe them as a character.
If you find any pearls, give them to me, okay?
Come on, Loco. I'm coming. You couldn't run the leg to yourself.
Because as every writer knows, it's the characters you remember long after you've forgotten the story.
Fill your heart with Ireland. Discover more at Ireland.com.